Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Well, I wanted to show you guys a quick pack up and storage of some potato shreds that I got. But I wanted to show you how you can fail by thinking that you can store your own food for cheaper than you can buy it pre-packaged. Now, that's not for everything. I feel that for most things, you can put away and package your own food that you buy in bulk for less than what you pay for prepackaged foods like Augason Farms. And that's the example I'm going to use today because I saw these potato shreds at Costco's, and these were roughly about $5.50 each. All right, maybe a few pennies less, maybe a few pennies more, but not much. They were less than $6 a piece. Okay, and I saw these at Costco's and decided to pick up 6 of these, a case of them. And a case of these brings 6 times 2.34 pounds. So you're looking at just shy of 15 pounds, okay, of potato shreds. So for 15 pounds of potato shreds, I ended up paying, I would say, about roughly $33. Okay, it might be a couple pennies more, a couple pennies less, but right in the range of about $33 for 15 pounds of potato shreds. So after I bought these, then I went ahead and I went on to Amazon and took a look at Augason Farms potato shreds, and to my dismay, I found that Augason Farms offers a bucket of 22 pounds of potato shreds for $40. So where I could have gotten an additional 7 pounds of potato shreds for an additional $7, instead I ended up getting 15 pounds of potato shreds for $33. So this, as far as I'm concerned, is a fail on my part as far as what it cost me to put this away. Because in addition to the $33 that I'm paying for the product, okay, I ended up paying an additional $2 for my Mylar bag and an additional $6 for my bucket and my lid. So I'm looking at paying right now for putting this away, I'm looking at paying $41 for putting away 15 pounds of these potato shreds. And it's actually a little worse than that because only, as you can see here, let me show you. As you can see here, I've already packaged a 5-gallon bucket of this, and it only took 5 containers, all right? It won't take more than 5. I might be able to squeeze it in there, but I doubt it, and I don't want to put so much in there that I won't be able to put a lid on it. So really, I'm only putting away about 11 to 12 pounds of potato shreds, okay? And it's costing me roughly $27 in potato shreds, and then an additional $8 or so for the bucket and the Mylar bag and the lid, all right? And the oxygen absorbers come with the Mylar bags, so it's the same cost, about $2 per 5-gallon Mylar bag with the oxygen absorber in there. So in this case, I ran into a situation where I would have been much better off ordering the prepackaged foods from Augason Farm than to try to package my own. So this is the last time I will do this. I do want to pack more of these potato shreds because I think that there's a lot of uses for potatoes. Number one, all right, it goes a really long way. Like one of these right here lasts a long time. Like I remember when I made those breakfast burritos that I made about 20 of them, I only used about a cup and a half of these. And it was enough for me to make 20 burritos, okay? In addition, of course, to the eggs and the meats that I put in there, but just as an example of how far these go. And I personally don't like canning potatoes because I think that it just takes up so much room to can potatoes. So I prefer to package my potatoes or store my potatoes in 5-gallon Mylar bags or in the shredded form, dehydrated form, for long-term storage instead of having it in the pantry in jars. Now, having said that, when I start growing my own potatoes and growing my own gardens, I more than likely will have to can some of them. However, that's going to be a learning process, because I do know that you can store potatoes depending on the humidity and the temperature of the area in which you store it. They can last you 6-7 months, okay, stored away, which is enough to get through the winter here. So that's going to be a learning process. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and concentrate on storing some of these. And I realized when I saw these, one of the good things I like about going to Costco's and surfing the web for things like this is that I realized that I really don't have that much potatoes stored up. And that's one of those things. It's like rice. It's a good carbohydrate. Well, white rice is not necessarily a great carbohydrate, but it is a carbohydrate and it will provide you with energy depending on what other things you eat it with, okay? And I know I'm diversing here, but for those of you that think that white rice is the devil, if you mix white rice with other things like beans or with proteins, it does allow the body to digest the carbohydrates in the white rice a little slower, therefore not inducing too much insulin to be pushed into your body, okay? For those of you that may be, you know, diabetic and things like that, I know white rice is really not good if you're diabetic. But if you do mix it in with other proteins, other fibers like legumes and meats, it does allow the body to digest it a little slower, and oils too. It allows the body to digest it a little slower, enabling your body to put the sugar from the rice into your bloodstream a little bit slower than it would have otherwise. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that fail, because this is, as far as I'm concerned, this is a big fail. I mean, I'm looking at probably almost paying almost twice as much as what I would be paying if I just bought it online. Because this bucket right here, we're looking at this bucket costing me about $35 to store roughly half of what I would have been able to get should I just bought it online. So this is one mistake I won't make again. As long as I can get it through Augason Farms, that's what I'm going to do. It already comes packaged. It won't take any of my time to do it. All I have to do is grab it and put it away. Here, I stored it. I made sure that I froze these potato shreds. I made sure that I kept them outside of my truck for a couple of days, all right, to make sure that they were in a constant temperature that was below freezing. All right, that's one of the things you want to do before you store these in there. And also, ladies and gentlemen, I know that for those of you that have been with me for a while, you've seen me do several videos of this where I show people how to package things in Mylar bags for long term. And I keep revisiting this subject, or I keep revisiting this, is because we do have new subscribers all the time. And a lot of times I am asked, how do I do this? So I don't mind doing this once in a while, because I'm going to do it anyways. And if it can help someone that's new, that hasn't been able to find one of the videos that I've done in the past about doing this, it'll help them to at least become more interested in doing it. Because this here can be a little bit intimidating as far as packaging your own food. You know, a lot of people are afraid of, am I going to do it right? Am I not going to be able to use this in 10 years if I have to, because I messed up? So I like to show you all how simple this really is. This is not rocket science, and anybody can do this, anyone at all, and it's not that expensive. Now, having said that, just make sure you do a little bit of research before you go out and purchase things, okay? Like, for example, I would never buy prepackaged rice, all right, from Augason Farms or anyone, because it almost always, I've never seen a case where prepackaged rice is less expensive than you packing your own rice. Okay, but in this case right here, I will never buy this again at the store to package myself, when I know that I can go to Augason Farms and get almost twice as much for just a couple dollars more. All right, so for those of you that are new, that haven't really seen me do this before, okay, what I've done here is All I have here is a 5-gallon bucket, okay? And it's not a food grade bucket, which doesn't really matter in this case because we're using a Mylar bag, which is food grade, okay? You get yourself a 5-gallon Mylar bag, which if you look in the description of all of my videos, you should see a link to the 5-gallon Mylar bags that I use, which is exactly these same ones for Amazon, and they're the best deal that I could find. You get a 10 pack of these, and it comes with 10 1,000 or 2,000 cc absorbers, oxygen absorbers, and one of those oxygen absorbers is plenty. They come with these right here. These are 2,000 cc oxygen absorbers, and as you can see, I keep them in a mason jar so that they can, keep their, so that they can stay fresh. Okay, and I'm going to be opening this up here in a second. So they come with that, and I think they're about $2.10 a piece. It comes out to for each Mylar bag and oxygen absorber combination. So all we're doing, ladies and gentlemen, is just filling it to the top, making sure that you pounce this down a little bit so that you can get it compacted down as much as you can. All right, and then we're just going to fold our bag, fold it nice and neat. Okay. And then what we're going to need for this, all right, the low-tech way of doing this, we're just going to need a board, okay? And we're going to need an iron, okay? And get your iron nice and hot, all right? So make sure that if you have little ones that they're not near that thing, okay? We're going to take our board. Let me make sure that you guys can see this. We're just going to put it on the lip of the 5-gallon bucket. And then we're going to take the Mylar bag and lay it nice and flat on the board, okay? When I do this, I try to hold it right here and I try to squeeze down a little bit to get some of the air out of it. Don't worry about getting so much air out of it that you're spending a lot of time, because when you put your oxygen absorber in there, it's going to suck this in, okay? Trust me, it is going to suck this in. And if you want to see how that works, I do have other videos showing you the end result after I've let this sit in here for a couple of days, meaning after I've sealed it with an oxygen absorber in there for a couple of days, showing you how much it actually sucks all the air into these oxygen absorbers, which really is not sucking any air in. All it is, for those of you that don't know, is the oxygen absorber, they're full with what I call iron powder, all right? So if you know, raw iron will rust really easy. And what rusting is a chemical reaction between the iron and the oxygen in the air, okay? The oxygen oxidizes the iron, turning it into rust. So when that chemical reaction occurs, the oxygen is evacuated from the environment in which it's in, all right? Taking away the oxygen and replacing it with CO2, okay? Because that's what oxidation is, right? So what will happen is these bags will shrink in because the iron that's in here takes up a lot of the oxygen in order to oxidize. All right, that's the best way I can describe it or explain it. All right, so do your own research if you're interested in that. But all this is here is just a little bag with iron dust in it. That's what it is. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take an oxygen absorber out of here, and I'm going to go ahead and place it in the bag now that it's ready. I've got my iron ready. I'm going to go ahead and seal it, and you'll see how easy it is to do this, okay? And by the way, these oxygen absorbers, I've been storing it like this for a long time, all right? There's different channels that use different methods. I know that if you guys go and check out Bug Out Bubba, instead of using oxygen absorbers, he uses hand warmers. And a hand warmer is the same thing as an oxygen absorber, okay? The main reason I use these is because I get them with my Mylar bags, and I like using Mylar bags. If you guys go check out Bug Out Bubba, he's got different methods of storing his dry goods, all right? It's totally different than the method I use. He still uses a 5-gallon bucket, but he doesn't use a Mylar bag, and he doesn't use traditional oxygen absorbers. He uses hand warmers. You guys can go check him out if you like, because he's got a really good channel and he's a really good guy. All right, so I recommend that you guys go check him out. All right, but I like using the same method I've been using for years because I know that it works for me. Okay, if something works for me, I don't want to change it to a different method just to change it. There's got to be a reason why I'm changing to a different method. And this way here, I know works. It's the way I've been doing it. I'm not going to change it now. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and also, this is how I store my oxygen absorbers. Okay, whatever extras I have, I put them in a mason jar. I put a lid on it. I put a ring on it and tighten it tight. And it will seal itself. You can see that. I'm holding this just by the lid. Okay, so, and you'll hear the hiss when it opens up. That way you know that it's still good. So check it out. I don't know if you heard that, but it did hiss. I'm going to take one of these out. And a quick way to check to make sure that your oxygen absorber is still good, all right, just to make sure it's still good, if you shake it, you should hear powder in there, all right? And doing this actually helps to activate it quickly, okay? Now, if you open one of these up and it's really hard and it feels like it's just really tacky and hard in there, you may not want to use this. You may not want to use it, but this one is really good. All right, so you just put it in there, you place it on top, okay? I'm going to go ahead and make sure that this is lined up nice and well. Push some of my air out as much as I can, but not fussing too much with it. Then I'm going to grab my iron and just iron it, ladies and gentlemen. For any of you guys that have ironed clothes before, this is pretty much the same thing. Okay, all you got to do is iron it. Making sure that you don't leave your iron on one spot for too long, because it will burn through. All right, this is pretty much just a plastic bag with a very thin layer of metal, and that's what a Mylar bag is. It's a plastic bag with pretty much a thin layer of metal, which is what acts as the barrier between allowing any air and or light and moisture to get into the bag. All right, so once you seal this, you're good to go. Now you see this is all good to go. All you have to do with this now is you put this aside, okay? You put it aside and you give it a couple of days. I usually like to take another 5-gallon bucket and put it on top of it. Okay, so usually I just go like this, try to make it nice and neat. Alright, as you can see, it's still nice and airy, but that will definitely shrink down. Okay, I guarantee it. Alright, I usually like to put another 5-gallon bucket on top of it so that it can squish it down nice and even, so my lid will go on nice and even. So I got another one here that I packed. I might as well get this one done while I'm already out here. And this one is just, this one's got 20 pounds of macaroni in it. Alright, and I already packed it. So I'm just going to go ahead and get this one done at the same time, since I've already got the oxygen absorbers opened up. Okay, so I'm going to take this, throw it in there. I'm going to do the exact same thing that I did before. So ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that haven't pulled the trigger yet on getting yourself some of these or starting to prep, period, all right, I want to show you here how simple this is. This is, man, I'm telling you, for people that have an excuse or use excuses of not prepping because they don't have the time, that's really not a good excuse. Now, if you don't have the time and you have the money, go ahead and buy yourself, you know, prepackaged foods. But if you really don't have a lot of money, obviously the best thing that you can do is to buy in bulk and package your own foods. Okay? And that's what I recommend. I recommend that you buy as much things in bulk as you can and package your own foods. Alright? That way you can know what you have. That way you can label it yourself and you know everything about the stuff that you package yourself. Okay? And do your research. Alright? This mistake right here probably cost me, for what I ended up paying for these and the bucket and the Mylar bag, I could have probably gotten a full 7 pounds more of shreds. All right, so I could have probably gotten the equivalent of about 3 more of these. About 3 more of these for around the same price, maybe a couple of dollars more, but not too much more. So do your research when you're buying stuff. Don't just buy something because it looks cool or because you're getting it on a whim, do a little bit of research. It'll save you money in the long run, okay? So this is something I won't do again. I am going to end up ordering Augason Farms. So this one right here will end up in my pantry, and we'll end up using it eventually. Or maybe I'll just put it in a half-gallon mason jar and throw an oxygen absorber in there, which will work just as well. Okay, but just a quick video today, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope that you got something out of this. If you know someone that is on the verge of starting to prep or is thinking about it, share some of these videos with them, because it may only take one video to wake them up to the fact that they do need to start preparing. All right, that we all need to start preparing, and if we have been preparing, we need to continue to prepare. But more importantly, ladies and gentlemen, reach one, teach one. All right, we need to keep reaching people and teaching people so that they can understand why it's so important to start prepping with the times that we're in right now. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I didn't really mean for this to be this long of a video, but you know me, I like to blab. So having said that, a quick note. I'm taking this Sunday off, so there's not going to be a premiere on Sunday. However, I have a really, really good premiere, I think it is, for Saturday. All right, so you guys are going to want to catch that premiere on Saturday. It actually took me a whole day to do this video because I had to do a lot of editing and splicing, and I'm not good at that stuff. So I hope that you guys join me this Saturday, 8 a.m. Alaska time. All right, so for those of you that can join in, we'll have some fun chatting, and I'm putting up in the process of putting up of a video that I think you all will enjoy. Okay, so having said that, remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to every one of you and your families. This is Alaska Prepper, and I'm out.